Hello and welcome to Sound Off Sports. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Great show today. We're breaking down Super Bowl 59. Are the Eagles built to be the NFL's next dynasty? Plus, is the GOAT conversation done for Patrick Mahomes? Has he officially kind of left that tier where Tom Brady was all alone? We're going to be talking all about that and so much more coming up right now on SOS.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Sam and Ash.
Well, hello there. Welcome to Sound Off Sports SOS. I'm Mike Davis, joined right now by my main man, James Edward Barrickman the fourth. James,
certain glow to you today, Mike.
Am I
what
pregnant? Is it? I'm trying to figure out. Did I have a tremendous lunch? What is it about my glow?
I think you're wearing it. I think that's the glow. I think you got it on your shoulder there.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah.
You know what?
Take a look at
completely. I was. Wow! It's a Philadelphia Eagles Saquon Barkley jersey with the Super Bowl patch.
Yeah. Stand up a little bit so the camera can see it.
Let me make sure I get. Let me just go around here and show everybody.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Listen, as a neurotic Philadelphia Eagles fan from South Jersey, was I, of course, still worried when it was 34-0? Yes, a
Absolutely.
little. But as we were texting and communicating throughout
Did
the
I
game,
get a call as soon as Cooper DeJean crossed the goal line? Yes, I did.
That was one of the greatest moments in Super Bowl history. But let's just talk about this. 40-22, that game's not even, you can't even look at the number. This game was over from start to finish.
Disappointed in the Chiefs in that effort.
I think the two striking things are, one, I'm surprised with the game plan from Andy Reid. All week long, you were telling me they have an advantage at quarterback, they have an advantage at coaches.
Head coach, yeah. And
for Andy Reid to not make any adjustments when they couldn't even throw the ball and get time to get the ball out of the pocket, like, you got to run the ball, you got to do a few screen passes. Like, there was no workaround for any.
The lack of a want to try and get the run game going. You look at those, like Isaiah Pacheco had 3 carries.
Right.
Kareem Hunt, I don't think he had more than 4. It was there was a lack of a want to from the ground game.
And if your offensive line can't handle a four-man front,
you're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time, because you got the secondary on lockdown, all that stuff. But you gotta draw something up. So I was curious about that. But beyond that, I think what we're gonna talk about later is this whole GOAT conversation with Patrick Mahomes. But the truth is, he was so flustered. I've never seen. It was the worst game of his career.
Bad time to play the worst game of your career.
Yes.
Wrong time.
So
when you're going for a three-peat, trying to cement yourself as maybe the greatest quarterback of all time, bad time to totally just take a leak down your leg, Mom.
And when people are having Chiefs fatigue and we're, focused on the negative here, we can talk more about that later in the show. I want to focus on the positive as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Tremendous game from them. We asked everybody at home, is this team, the way that they're constructed, the way that Howie Roseman primed this roster, are they built to be the NFL's next dynasty? Let's hear what someone at home has to say.
I think it's too soon to call the Eagles a dynasty. What they are a powerhouse. And that's something that we've known going into the season and what they still are. They're a powerhouse. They've been in the playoffs 4 straight years with Jalen Hurts as quarterback, with Nick Sirianni as head coach. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They've won a Super Bowl. They've just solidified themselves as the best powerhouse in the NFC. Maybe win a couple other Super Bowls, then they get on the Chiefs level as a dynasty.
All right, so hold up. That is the
You just won the Super Bowl, Matt, in Las Vegas.
He is depressed. I don't know.
Does he know?
Does he know? I don't know what's going on. Maybe he just woke up and called in, but
I think that's probably more likely.
He just lost all his energy because he was so charged up from Sunday.
Still in recovery mode.
But I mean, truly, and I'm biased, obviously. I'm wearing the jersey, but let's just say this is one of the most comprehensive, complete rosters we've ever seen in professional sports.
Incredible.
Like, I don't even know a weakness. So now you got this.
Howie Roseman deserves a statue outside of
He's the true MVP.
No question.
Because you're hitting on draft picks like Milton Williams, 3rd-round pick. Josh Sweat, 4th-round pick. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jordan Davis. I mean, Jalen Carter. These are all draft selections. It's Jalen Hurts, 2nd-round pick.
Yep.
All these guys. So you're hitting on major picks. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. All these guys are just draft picks you're hitting on. The whole offensive line. Jordan Mailata, 8th-round pick. Landon Dickerson. Cam Jurgens, just select him in the 2nd round after Kelsey's about to leave. All these things. Then you make the free agent acquisitions, taking a Zach Bond, getting a Saquon Barkley, making the trade for A.J. Brown. All these things are tremendous moves. My question to you is, I think in all of our years of being fans of the NFL, perhaps the only dynasties we've really seen, if we're just going to be loose on the terminology, is the Steelers. For a little bit, wouldn't you say? They were a dynasty?
You're not talking about the 70 Steelers. You're talking about the 05, 08,
I'm saying like 70s, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. They were a dynasty in the 70s.
Yeah.
No
so
question.
I'm just saying the 70s, 49ers.
I thought you were basically referencing 2001.
I'm saying all of our years of NFL fandom, right?
The 70s
You got the
Steelers.
70s Steelers. You got the Packers, maybe even because early
From
on
back
how
in the
they
60s,
were.
Yeah, the Cowboys there.
The Cowboys, the 49ers, and then really
Patriots, Chiefs.
the Patriots and the Chiefs.
Right.
So now those are our dynasties we're dealing with. Do the Eagles have the juice to be the next team in that position?
I'll tell you why I don't think so.
Okay.
Because a roster alone does not a dynasty make.
Say that one more time. That's beautiful. That
roster
sounds like Yoda.
alone
Okay.
does not a dynasty make. And I'm not even sure I'm saying that properly.
It sounds like Yoda. But okay.
Here's what I'll say. I don't think Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of a dynasty. I know you're really high on him right now. You think he's a top 5 guy. I think he's top 10. I don't think he's top 5. I don't think Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of a dynasty. I don't think that they are going to be able to keep turning over coaches like Gannon, Steichen, now what's his name down in New York, Kellen Moore. Like, how many more of these elite coordinators are you going to be able to hire and keep? Or is the D coordinator Fangio? Is he going to be the new Spagnuolo? But for Philly,
I mean,
I just think the way they are turning over coordinators and the way we saw everything fall apart last year without those elite guys, I think it's going to be tough to sustain this.
That's the best point you can make. I mean, it's going to be the 5th time Jalen Hurts in consecutive seasons has a new offensive play caller. From Sirianni to Steichen to Brian Johnson to Kellen Moore, there's going to be a new guy doing that for him. So that is the major threat. But from a roster construction standpoint and the fact that you're in the NFC rather than the AFC, it's going to look good for Philadelphia for a very long time. We could probably say it's going to be sunny in Philadelphia. Guys, coming up after a short break, we got more SOS for you. Don't go anywhere.
Are the Eagles on the brink of a dynasty? John Shkomish on Facebook says, I believe they are if they can keep that team together and make the right decisions in free agency. It's hard by design to keep a dynasty nowadays.
All right, we got a great treat for you right now. Cleveland Browns quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson joins me for a quick conversation. Let's take a look. I am joined by an NFL quarterback, a great local dude, a Bishop Gorman guy, a UCLA guy. I got to ask him about Westwood. I spent some time there. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Dorian, great to see you, my man. How's everything going?
Going well. Back home, so I can't complain.
How does it feel coming back home, being in Cleveland? You come back home to Vegas. What does it feel like? Is it still your home? Is Vegas always going to be your home, or do you have a new home now?
I would like to start by saying it's a lot warmer on this side of town than over there. But no, it's great. It's always going to be home for me. It's where my family is and my friends are, so I can always call this place home.
You got some deep roots. His mom, Dr. Melva Thompson-Robinson, a public health professor at UNLV. I'm sure UNLV wanted you bad when you were coming from Gorman. But tell us, you go to UCLA. You're at Westwood. What was part of the decision there in choosing UCLA?
Yeah. Going back to the UNLV, I don't think many people know this. They were my first offer coming out of high school.
Really?
And I had a bunch of strong ties over there. So obviously with my mom going there. The decision to go to UCLA, I was deciding between Michigan and UCLA. Mom was a graduate from Michigan, and I loved everything about the school over at UCLA, and really just the coaching staffs, the programs. I was wanting to come out and be a dentist coming out of high school. They had a big dentistry program.
Are you serious?
There. Yes, sir. So those are some of the factors that decided me going there over Michigan. So.
Why? So you really weren't thinking NFL. You were thinking dentistry.
I was a brainiac coming out and trying to do a whole bunch of nerdy stuff.
How to be? I mean, listen. Of course, having those genetics, having parents who are super smart. I mean, to be an NFL quarterback, that's the hardest position in all of sports. You have to be kind of a genius to play NFL quarterback, right?
Yeah, for sure. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of processing, and to be able to do it at that high level, it takes a lot. So,
what's been the jumps at Bishop Gorman? You had a terrific career. You go to college. You played 5 years, right, at UCLA. So you got a lot of time there, and then you see all these different jumps of levels, right? And you got a good amount of time this year at Cleveland. What's the changes? What's the biggest change from UCLA to the NFL? Is this everything faster? What's the hardest thing to adjust to?
No, I think the biggest thing is the amount of work you put in throughout the week and how much that really matters to be able to prepare you on Sunday. You see guys from the kicker all the way to a defensive back watching just as much film as the quarterbacks. And so if you go a day and let a day go by, it'll show up on Sunday. And I think that's probably the clearest challenge to overcome is really being disciplined in your work throughout the week, for sure.
Interesting. So everybody's really trying, they're hard at, maybe in college, the quarterback it's a prerequisite. It's an expectation that you're going to be studying that hard. It's like in dentistry and being in dental school, everybody's trying to become a dentist. Right. So it's like everybody's on the same page, and you got to find ways to be a difference maker when everybody else is watching the same stuff. For sure. It's interesting stuff. Tell us, especially, I don't want to harbor too much on this because we got to get to everything you're doing with your foundation, DTR Foundation. It's going to be a great Super Bowl watch party event at Easy's Cocktail Lounge at Proper Eats Aria Resort. Beautiful place. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. But, it was an interesting season for you guys with Cleveland. You got, Deshaun and everything he's going through. You got Jameis Winston. You got you coming in there. Tell us a little bit about what it was like this season playing with the Browns and what that quarterback room felt like.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. A bunch of learning experiences for sure. Obviously not the year we were all expecting.
All right, so to listen to the full conversation with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports.
Is Mahomes still in GOAT territory with Brady? Mark on Facebook says, yes, people don't realize Tom had tough times too. And Mahomes is on schedule still to shatter every one of Brady's records and already has shattered some of them.
All right, welcome back to SOS. Mike Davis, James Edward Barrickman IV. So, James, this was a big opportunity, Super Bowl 59, for Patrick Mahomes because he was going for a three-peat.
Cement himself as a Montana, as a Brady kind of guy. Maybe he already has.
And he maybe already has. He's got 3 Super Bowl wins, been there 5 times, 2 losses. Brady has been there 10 times, 7 wins, 3 losses. So this was an opportunity to do something Tom Brady has never done.
Kind of separate
himself and kind of...
Even from Tom.
Right, which is a crazy thing to note. Being 29 years old, Brady played 23 years in the NFL, I think he won his last Super Bowl at 43, played until 45. So he still has a long way to go, Mahomes. But we asked everybody at home, now after this big defeat, is he kind of out of this conversation? There was a trend that he's the new GOAT. Is he now eliminated from GOAT conversation What's your feelings, James, before we go to the callers?
So I think that it's how he lost that really is going to leave a stink on his legacy for years and years to come. And I know me and you have talked about this at length, but you look at how Mahomes has lost his 2 Super Bowls. He's been blown out twice. I think the point differential has been a total of 40. Brady's lost 3 times in the Super Bowl. That point differential just 15, which it's a stark contrast because when you're talking about 2 guys who are the best that have ever lived,
right,
and the margins are small, those are 2 things that really separate Tom, because Tom didn't even snap the ball unless he knew what the defense was in. So I think for Mahomes, he still has quite a ways to go. There's about 300 yards in front of him until he can catch.
100%. Let's go to the callers. Let's see one call we got here on this exact subject.
Hey, Mike, Will from Las Vegas, and I'm just going to say that at the moment, Patrick Mahomes cannot be compared to Brady. Now, he still has maybe another 10, 12 years to go, so we may revisit that conversation. But at the moment, those 2 blowout losses in the Super Bowl kind of take him out of the greatest conversation. Have a great one.
All right, thank you so much, Will from Las Vegas. So, yeah, I'm not super interested, James, to be honest, in the GOAT conversation because it's 7-3. So, I mean, let's pull back for a second.
Question.
But
no question.
This is what I do want to mention is that Tom Brady did not look like Mahomes did ever in a Super Bowl. So, I mean,
Tom's had bad games,
but he has never looked mentally checked out I'm not going to do everything in my power to turn this train around.
Tom was the ultimate competitor, ultimate leader.
He's like a Michael Jordan.
Psychopathic will to win.
It's like Michael Jordan. It's like Tom Brady. So I'm disappointed because I actually had a lot of faith in Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the guy in crunch time, with 40 seconds left who can change the course of a game and make magic happen for a team. It's disappointing, though, when you look at his body language, when you take a look at the type of leader he is on that field, it was over. I mean, you could see his body language. He's not going to be able to change the course of the direction for that team the same way that Tom is, number one. Number two, I don't like how I think we're giving too much credit to him as a coach figure on the field. I don't think he's like that. Tom was like having another head coach.
I don't think anybody is comparing Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes as a leader or as like a leadership figure on
But if you're in the GOAT conversation,
that's who you got to be.
Right.
Sure.
So I just think it's puzzling where you mentioned that quote that Tom Brady said on our guy Colin Cowherd show, saying he wouldn't even, if he didn't know what the defense was doing,
he didn't snap the ball.
It's a check down pass or it's a run that's going to be limited, negate any problem.
It's an obsessive approach to preparation.
Exactly.
It's insane.
So to me, the fact that Patrick Mahomes knows he has no time to throw the ball. He can't even step into the pocket. He's scrambling immediately because he's got zero time. You got to be a coach on the field and make some adjustments at the line of scrimmage like a Peyton Manning, like a Drew Brees, and hand off the ball and kind of just evaluate what's happening on the field at a different level. So to me, my biggest critique and judgment against Patrick Mahomes is that I don't think he's at this Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady level of knowledge and execution and understanding as a coach on the field type of player.
You're saying he's not as smart as
he's
a
not
quarterback.
There. I just don't think he's there. I think the talent's
Maybe
there.
He's not.
But I think that's a critical difference.
I think there's an argument to be made for that.
That's where I'm at.
I don't mind that.
I think that's the biggest thing here to discuss. But at the end of the day, it's still 7 Super Bowls for Tom Brady. His last one at 43, perhaps his most impressive. But what James said, the 40-point differential to the 15-point differential, That's all you got to know right there. Guys, coming up after a short break, we're going to be breaking down the halftime show. How good was Kendrick Lamar, and what perhaps is the best halftime of all time? And who are we looking for next year?
Is Mahomes still in GOAT territory with Brady? Arthur Guy on Facebook says, Mahomes is a generational talent, but any quarterback without protection will have a bad time.
Welcome back to Sound Off Sports. All right, so we broke down the game. Now it's time to break down the halftime show. The halftime show.
Correct.
James, here's my big takeaway. I love Kendrick Lamar.
I love Kendrick too. Big fan.
I think it was a little bit of a dud. It wasn't as good as I was anticipating it to be. I'm going to be honest.
You have bangers, Kendrick? Play the bangers. That's what we want to hear.
He did a lot of the new stuff. He played Luther. I love that. He did, all that stuff. The point is, it wasn't the same type of level of performance as I thought it was going to be. My biggest critique, though, let's look at this trend of halftime Super Bowl shows. We had Kendrick Lamar, Usher the year before, Rihanna before that. We had the Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem thing prior to that. Then we had The Weeknd before that. Do you think maybe it's time to go to a new genre? Do we? I love rap and hip hop. Do you think maybe after 7 years of the same genre, we could shift to
be
country,
fair, that's what's popping.
to rock and roll? Can we shift to something else?
Rock and roll and country are to the mainstream American audience kind of dead genres. Although I would love to see a country singer. Mine,
yeah. Who do you want to
see next year? All right, this is going to be controversial.
Tell us.
I want to see Morgan Wallen.
Ooh,
the hottest country singer in the game right now. Got more bangers than you can count on your hands. I would love to see a Morgan Wallen halftime show. I think he would kill it.
I think any departure from just the same genre after 7 years or something, let's please go to something different. Next year it's going to be where the 49ers play, San Francisco, Bay Area. There's a lot of great Bay Area talent. You got legends like Carlos Santana, Metallica, Green Day, Journey, John Fogerty. There's tons of guys we can talk about. Grateful Dead. So I mean, listen, I'm a junkie for all the old school stuff. I think Paul McCartney, that was the best halftime ever. I like Prince. I like Tom Petty. I like the Stones. I like Bruce Springsteen. Let's do some classic stuff and get out of this rap stuff. Let's see you next time here on SOS. Thanks for joining us.